Oh, there's so many we have to get through. But look, today we want to focus. And please do keep sending in your domestic versions of the Frank effect.
But you wanted to take charge of an international Frank effect, Sam.
I want to do some international Frank effects. And to signify this, I thought, how do I put into music form, sort of a celebratory noise, how do I signify all the countries in the world and then Frank Stallone? Well, I came up with the idea of just playing all the national anthems I could get my hands on over each other and then into Far From Over by Frank Stallone. It sounds not bad. What you're about to hear, you got a bit of UK, Romania, Mexico, Brazil, Cuba, France, all the biggies, all the big anthems, into Stallone. It's International Frank effect. Perfect.
Oh, the Cuban's dominant, isn't it?
I'm not sure who uses the drum roll, but they certainly get the bit of airtime at the start.
Okay, cool.
Quick one, Ando.
Go for it.
The Frank effect. How he affects the weather in Singapore. It was raining here the other day. This is from loyal podcaster Nat, who lives in Singapore. Raining here the other day, and I thought, what can the Frank effect do to the weather? I played the newly downloaded MP3 Far From Over on my BlackBerry, full blast. This is off a mobile phone speaker. Wow. The rain poured harder. And it flooded some areas here in Singapore. Warning, do not mess with the Frank effect. See, she gets you. You thought the rain might go, but he's not biblical. Let everyone enjoy this. All right. Quickie. Daniel, he's in Brazil. My name is Daniel. I'm a Brazilian podcaster.
Yep.
I'm an architect, and yesterday I was running a little bit late for a meeting with a client whose name, and this is not a coincidence, is Roberto Stallone.
That is a coincidence, isn't it?
No. There are no... That's what the other rule about Frank. There are never any coincidences.
Okay.
And I was listening to the podcast. When you play the introduction from Far From Over, all of a sudden my car had a performance improvement of 253.5%. Dan obviously has one of those hot new Brazilian cars that can measure its performance improvement in percentages. Traffic seemed to be free ahead only for me. And, of course, I arrived successfully to meet Roberto Stallone. That's the Frank effect for sure, guys.
Hey, any more?
And one last quick one.
Yeah.
New Zealand podcaster Kate.
Yep.
She got up the other day about 5 minutes before the bus I needed to catch. Now, in need of some inspiration, I put on the Frank Stallone classic, Far From Over. I was easily ready within 5 minutes, but just before I left the house, the instrumental came on. Obviously, I had to stop and dance. Unfortunately, this made me miss the bus. Sometimes Frank's music is a bit too good. It distracts you from everything else. So at this stage, you're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I mean, she's danced the instrumental. What's happened? Luckily, I was so amped up, I didn't need the bus. I ran into town.
International.
That's what it's doing to people globally. Cue Frank.
Hamish and Andy driving you home.
Hamish and Andy.